Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review of a Rise of the Beast figure. This one being the mainline deluxe class Nightbird. Now, Nightbird, I don't believe has ever gotten, I don't think she's ever gotten her own mold as a figure. I believe she's always been an RC repaint slash retool. Even the Masterpiece figure was just RC with a different head and color scheme. So I do believe this is the first time Nightbird has gotten a figure that is wholly original to her. And it's okay. It's got a... I don't know what to describe. She is black and brown in the pictures we've seen of the vehicle. I don't think this is the right brown. This is definitely too light. This definitely needs to be a lot darker. And also I understand semi why they chose it in the certain spots that they did, but it's that palm plastic, so it's obviously for structure. But they could have absolutely just molded it in gray. One thing she does do, however, is no clear plastic. Good job. Thank you. I have been trying to tell people that this, while it may not look as good as clear plastic, is going to hold up far better over a longer period of time. But that out of the way, she is a gray Nissan, I think is I don't know the car. She's got kind of a copper brown painted on her, some purple highlights over here, purple on the wheels, nice painted headlights, painted taillights, but they're really small, so you might have a hard time seeing them. She does the annoying thing where they're both clipped, but they're clipped differently. This is the wheel clipping into the vehicle, and this is the vehicle clipping into the wheel. I don't know why they do this. You'd think it'd look better if they just did that on both, this on both, but I don't know why. It does kind of affect the way she rolls. She doesn't roll the best. Definitely not as good as Crosshairs did. Yeah, it looks good overall. I just wish they had done a different color for the brown overall, and I wish they had used the gray instead of the brown for the joints up here, because that does look pretty ugly and it sticks out real bad. She is the smallest of the jungle packs, the jungle 3-pack that comes with Cheetor, Wheeljack, and her. So she's the smallest. She's definitely not as tall as your average deluxe class figure. Let me go ahead and get to some size comparisons. So obviously, Wheeljack, she's longer than Wheeljack, but Wheeljack is a little bit taller. And this guy's already starting to yellow, which is kind of upsetting. But then you get figures like the Studio Series line, and she's completely dwarfed by even some of the smaller figures like RC. But even outside of Studio Series, we get figures like Kingdom Air Razor. And obviously the wingspan is one thing, and you can just see that Air Razor, even in length, is almost identical to her. So, oops, get that in the frame there. Air Razor in length is almost identical. Like, she's just a little bit shorter because of, well, she's a hawk, so she doesn't, proportionally, it would be different. However, of the three, I think her weapons actually look the best. So she comes with this little like claw weapon dude. That looks pretty cool. And then she comes with a sword. Now the way these store in vehicle mode is actually pretty clever. So first you want to split the claw in half. And then you'll see that the 5mm peg splits in half and it lines up with holes on the back here. You want the blade going towards the bottom of the car for each one. Just slide them in like that. And then you'll notice these two tabs up at the top and these two holes in the sword. And you put the blade facing the front. And now she has a kind of spoiler for her vehicle mode, which I do think is actually accurate. I'll have to look at the on-set photos of the vehicle. That's really clever. If you don't want it on there, you can take it all off in one piece. So it's really clever how they worked to that end. I don't think they meant to, but either way, it's still really good. So yeah, vehicle mode's pretty okay. I have my issues with it, but it's certainly not the worst vehicle I've ever seen. So without further ado, let's get down to transformation. For transformation, first thing I like to do is come to the back here and just pop the back bumper off and kind of just lift that up. That'll help keep things out of the way. Next, what I like to do is take this little gray section here and kind of pull out on it just to untab it. There is a little tab slot connection here, but it doesn't really lock in all that well. You can go ahead and do that. Do the same thing on the other side. If you're having a hard time getting it from here, you can just come from the bottom and push. Well, you don't want to do that. Save that for later. Okay. And then that's pretty much all you want to do for now as far as the back of the vehicle goes. Now you take the arms and pull them out. They just fold out and then down. These pieces get very annoying because whenever you're transforming them, if you have them up, they're going to go back down. So I just choose to leave them down for now, but whenever we get into robot mode, you do want to fold those up. Next, take the back section here and pull out on it. And that will allow you to bring this whole assembly here up. And this tab is going to go into that slot at the top of the vehicle. And then once you have that there, take the back bumper and just fold it down. When I did my size comparisons for Cheetor, I had this whole assembly mistransformed, so that was on me. Next, take the little gray sections here and just pull them out. They are on kind of sliders, kind of, not really. And then kind of rotate them forward once you have them untabbed. That'll help keep things from bumping in to each other. Next, you want to kind of angle the leg up, fold out the foot, and that will free up space to extend it completely. And then take this leg, rotate it at the thigh, and then just take this and push it out. That might have been a little hard to see, so I'll go ahead and do it on the other side. Take the foot and rotate that up. Take the foot, fold it out. Then the thighs are sitting, the thigh is sitting inside of itself. It accordions onto itself. So what you do is you kind of have to finagle with things a little bit. Take it and just extend it out, and then rotate that and flip out the toe. And there's the lower body done. You can push these back in. I personally choose to leave them out just so that if they are getting in the way, I can just rotate them to get them out of the way. Next, what you want to do is take the front end of the car and push it back, which will allow you to push the hood of the car down, and it'll just sit just like that. And then I like to angle the head upward just so it's not bumping into things as much. Then you just bring the whole chest assembly down, and the hood piece that we folded down earlier will actually tab into, or is supposed to tab into the torso, or clip in, whichever. And then start getting things situated. And now you can take those little shoulder guard pieces and fold them up. And there you have Nightbird in her robot mode. In my opinion, she looks really good. She's actually really close to the control art that we see. Of course, being a mainline figure, it doesn't get quite as much of a budget as the Studio Series figures would. But all of this is pretty accurate to what we see. Even the fact that she has a really long leg and crotch here, that's accurate, because originally this bothered me how long and how far that stuck down, but that's actually accurate to the control art. These little shoulder pieces are accurate. They're a little bit smaller in the control art, but there's only so much you can do with an actual toy versus a CG model. Same goes for these little side skirt pieces. These are smaller, but again, there's only so much you can do when it comes to a plastic figure that has to actually transform versus a CGI model where you can kind of fib with things a little bit. The backpack I would have wished cleaned up a little more, but mainline figure, you know, budgets, things like that. As far as articulation goes, she does have a ball joint at the head, but due to the molding of the head, she can't look up really or down. She can't get a full 360 either without stressing that, and I really don't want that to break. Shoulders are ball jointed, so you do get a full 360. You can get a up and down due to the transformation. Bicep swivel at the elbow. Elbow bends at the 90. No wrist, unfortunately. She does have a waist rotation. It's limited by the kibble, which if you move it around, you can get a little bit more, but I don't think you can ever actually get a full 360 out of it. She has weird legs. She has 2 knees, technically. These are for transformation. So she has a mid-thigh knee and then her actual knee, which is down here. And she also has an ankle due to transformation and a little toe. I don't think that's actually, that's, again, more for transformation, but you can use it if you want. So, nothing insane. Oh, wait. She can kick really good forward. She can go back about 90 degrees and then out. She can go there due to the kibble. If you rotate it, I think you might be able to get a little more, just a touch more. But yeah, she's okay. There is one major issue I have with the robot mode though, and that is the way the chest tabs in. The tabs don't it doesn't like go around it, it just kind of sits in here with friction. So anytime you try to like move the arms, you're likely to just completely untap the chest. Now, it can be fixed, you just have to take care, you have to make sure that you're not catching the wheel on anything and that you're using that up and down at the shoulder whenever you're moving the arm around. But it's definitely should have been made a little tighter for my taste. Her accessories, whoa, moving everything around here. So for accessories, she still has her little dudes here. We'll go ahead and put the claw back together. And these have 4 main spots they can go into. The hands, obviously, and these little ports on the wrists. I personally choose to put the claw weapon onto the wrist. And then you just take the sword and put it into her hand. I do believe there is a specific way of storing these on the vehicle, on the robot mode where she's not using them. I haven't been able to find it, but I'm pretty sure there is a way you can store it. But there she is, all armed up and ready to go. And without further ado, let's get down to some size comparisons. Here she is with her enemy, or well, one of her enemies, Wheeljack. And he is stupid loose out of the box. As you see, they are about the same height. Yeah, about the same height. Wheeljack might just barely inch her out. Here she is next to Bumblebee movie RC, where you can see she actually gains quite a bit of height on RC here. Now, of course, I doubt this is the scale that's going to be in the movie, but yeah, she actually gets taller than a Studio Series figure as far as the robot mode goes. And then here she is next to Air Racer. I almost called her Air Raid. That is a completely different character. And you can see also about the same height. So as far as a mainline figure goes, she's about on par with all the other deluxes as far as like Studio Series, Legacy, Kingdom, everything like that, which is actually quite impressive. Most deluxe class figures are a little bit shorter than you would see in the collector line, but not this girl. Pretty good. I mean, I definitely prefer the robot mode over the vehicle mode just because I think the colors come out better, they blend together better and everything like that. She does have some weird choices. She's pretty stable, as you can see, though. Like, those little feet do actually hold her up fairly well. I do wish that the kibble was handled a little better because it does limit the articulation. And I do wish that this was just, I know it's weird for me to be pointing at this, but I wish it was just a little bit smaller. She's making Optimus Prime blush a little bit, you know. But yeah, I do like the figure overall. I think it is a pretty good figure, especially for a mainline figure. So with all that rambling and all that quick, fast talk out of the way, that has been my review of the mainline Deluxe Class Rise of the Beast Nightbird, and I will see you guys some other time.